There's something else. Before we left the ship, we ran into one of her knights, and
It had the out of bounds, Ikora.
But that's impossible, isn't it?
Good morning, good afternoon, and good day, everybody. David here. Now, today's video, we're going to be looking at the out of bounds SMG, which is a brand new Crucible weapon, which has come with Destiny 2's Season of Plunder. Now, this SMG is absolutely ridiculous. It's become one of my favourite weapons, like, instantly. So, as I said, today's video is going to be focusing on this weapon, talking about the roles and stuff that I'm after. This weapon has so many great roles that there's not just one god role. I'm also going to break down a build that I've been using with it that I've absolutely been loving, and this is also going to be the build I take into trials. As always, if you do enjoy it, and if you do feel like you've learned something, a like and a sub and all those other YouTube stuff is always very much appreciated. And without further ado, let's just dive right in. So it's no surprise that the SMG build evolves around a Titan. I've been absolutely loving Titan. Striker Titan is back on top. I used to main a Titan in D1, and I'm glad that I've been thoroughly enjoying it again since the Arc 3.0 update. The Out of Bounds is the SMG we're talking about. This just drops from the end of Crucible matches, and if you reset your Crucible rank, you have a chance of getting multiple perks in these columns, so therefore increasing the chance of getting the role that you're after. Now, I've got a couple roles that I've absolutely been loving, but I've narrowed down the exact perks that I want in each column, so I'll break that down mainly. So that's what we'll sort of be focusing on. I'm just going to keep grinding until I get that specific role. So first and foremost, I've opted for full bore. Normally, as a console player, I don't go for full bore because of the decrease in stability that it gives you. Normally, I opt for something like hammer-forged or small bore, so I can bump the range up as much as possible, or equally the range and stability with no drawbacks. Depending on the recoil direction of the weapon, I might also go for like extended barrel or arrowhead, but the Out of Bounds comes with a 9-to-5 recoil direction at base, so that's incredible. That means it's basically as vertical as you can get it. So that means we can prioritize other things, and the stability on this weapon is great at base. But on top of that, and what makes this weapon in particular crazy good in my opinion, is the Omolon Fluid Dynamics origin trait. So this weapon has increased reload speed and stability for the top half of the magazine. So that means the decrease in stability isn't really felt. So that means we can boost the range as much as possible, still have good base range anyway, even with the decrease, and then the Fluid Dynamics trait will offset that even more. Then we offset the decrease that full bore gives us in stability with ricochet rounds. So you can see here, ricochet rounds adds +10, full bore loses +10 stability, so ricochet rounds puts the Out of Bounds back at its base 43 stability, which is awesome. Then a range masterwork, so we can boost that range even more. And then my traits that I'm after are Killing Wind, which I do have on this roll, but then Swashbuckler in this column, which I do have on another roll that I have been enjoying a lot. The reason I absolutely love Swashbuckler with this roll is because of the Titan class, so pairing that with Knockout, so when we get someone weak, we can just absolutely lunge at them with Knockout, getting our health back on a melee kill. Also proccing Swashbuckler ×5, allowing us to do, I believe, 23 to the head, which absolutely melts through Guardians, and it's just ridiculous. Changes this to like a 0.43 time to kill or something insane, like, it's ridiculously fast. Then you can chain Swashbuckler ×5 just by getting kills with the weapon, so you don't have to keep getting melee kills to reproc it. And therefore we're then proccing Killing Wind, which increases our mobility and range even more. So we're killing people at further distances. That increase in mobility pairs lovely with Peacekeepers, so then we can strafe even more, so less chance our enemies are going to even be able to hit us. So we're going to have this ridiculously fast time to kill and just be ridiculously hard to hit in return. I also pair Swift Charge, so getting double kills with our SMG will allow us to get charged with light, and pairing that with high energy fire for that damage boost. stacks on top of our swash times 5 buff. I'm also rocking harmonic siphon, so when we get kills with an arc weapon, we make an orb, then we can pick up that orb with taking charge to get another means of getting charge of light. And then the normal double unflinching SMG loader and targeting and so forth. We're rocking 100 resilience. Not only does this just give us more health, but it allows us to use our thruster ability more often. This has a super short cooldown anyway, and with 100 resilience and double utility kickstart, which is on your stasis class item, this makes it so when we use our class ability, so when we use our dodge, we get class ability back. So you basically get a dodge like every 10 seconds like the hunters do. And that is awesome for baiting out shotgunners and for dodging supers and whatnot. Going out with the thunderclap, I've been really enjoying this. I know a lot of people use seismic strike, and this is fantastic for just moving around the map. The reason I love thunderclap is because how much damage it does at range, not necessarily using this as a one-hit kill thing. So again, we can get someone weak with our SMG, then if they dart behind cover and then re-challenge, we can actually just thunderclap them instantly at range, and that makes it for a very easy cleanup, and that also procs knockout, gives us our health back. And then of course you do have the one-shot capability, but that rarely comes up. Pairing that with the storm grenade, absolutely love the storm grenade with touch of thunder, so this allows it to become roaming. This just forces movement. Again, this forces people that are camping with shotguns or whatever, they have to move, otherwise they'll just die to the grenade, because it does do enough damage to just kill them over time. So this can force them to move into our line of sight, or even to a charged thunderclap that we have waiting for them. So this is awesome. I then pair that with Spark of Shark. So our grenade follows them but also constantly jolts them. So then they're taking even more damage. That jolt can chain between enemies, doing even more damage. And even though we do get that -10 on our discipline stat, storm grenades have quite a short base cooldown anyway, and we're also offsetting that with the Spark of Recharge. So whilst critically wounded, our melee and grenade energy recharges more quickly. We get critically wounded often because we're just charging towards people. Even in those few seconds where we're critically wounded and then proc knockout to get our health regen back, that gives you a massive boost in your recharge for your abilities. Pairing that with Spark of Resistance, this is a no-brainer. Damage resistance whilst we're surrounded by combatants. We're going to be constantly surrounded by people because we like to just push in and punch everyone because we're a Titan. And then finally, Spark of Feedback. So this gives us +10 resilience, so this pushes us to 100 resilience, which is nice. But also taking melee damage increases our outgoing melee damage. This does stack with knockout, which also increases your melee damage. So when someone melees us, we can just turn around and just like one punch them effectively. This also pairs super nicely with our secondary weapon, which is a crafted Wastelander with 1-2 punch. So we can shut down supers this way, and even bubble titans, so we can proc 1-2 punch on a bubble titan. They're going to melee us because they get a boost in melee damage whilst they're inside their bubble, but not enough to instant kill us. We'll proc 1-2 punch on them with this. They'll punch us, activating the Spark of Feedback. Because we've broken their shield with the shotgun, we also proc knockout. So 1-2 punch, knockout, and feedback all stack to just be a guaranteed 1 punch. And then finally, Thunder Crash. This comes back faster than Fist of Havoc, and you can proc this from the safety of being on the other side of the map and just fly across. And again, you can just fly straight into a bubble and just shut them down, no issues whatsoever. And what's also awesome about this is that if you fly and hit people directly but not hit the ground or the wall, you can actually kill them with this whilst flying, so then you can chain multiple kills with it as well. So that's the build all broken down. I pair it with the Deathbringer just because it's really fun, but again, I love firing this from behind cover up in the air. People either just eat it and die, or it forces movement, forces people to move to not get hit by the Deathbringer, and then I can push them with my SMG or whatever and cut them off. Other than that, again, resilience is super high and important stat for me. There is recovery, get that as high as possible. And then I like a fairly balanced discipline and strength stat. Because we don't use Thunderclap as often, and knockout doesn't consume your melee charge, strength is not as important as discipline, but this is just the most I can get with the armor I've got currently. I am gutted that I'm at 49 mobility and not 50, because if this was at 50 with Peacekeepers, once you've got an SMG equipped as well, plus 50 to your mobility, so that would actually put us at 100 mobility. So that would go on top of the Peacekeeper strafe, make our strafe even more ridiculous and harder to hit. But with a lightweight frame weapon, which both these add, I believe, a +2 to your mobility as well once you've got them equipped. So realistically, we could drop this down to 30, and with Peacekeepers and these particular weapons, we would still be at 100. Now, if when playing Trials, we're playing on a slightly bigger map, say it's Midtown or something, I'll actually still use the SMG because of the movement capabilities and stuff, able to close the gap quite easily. But I may swap out the Wastelander for a sniper. So I was lucky enough to get this Defiance of Yasmin, which I have been enjoying so far. But any sniper would do to cover that distance, or even something like the Messenger or a Hung Jury with box breathing might be the option there on a bigger map. But again, depending on the map, if it's something like Fragment, I would actually still use Shotgun SMG because there's a lot of cover and stuff on the map, so it's very easy to close the gap and whatnot. Another thing you could use on your class item this season is the Lightning Strikes twice. So after throwing your Arc Grenade, you gain increased grenade recharge, and Arc Final Blows extend the duration of this benefit, so your melee, grenade, supers, and even the Out of Bounds SMG will all extend the duration of this. That's available on the artifact in the last column, so anyone can acquire that. But I wanted a build that will just serve me across any season, so I'm not relying on mods or whatever that will disappear. Now let's spend some more time talking specifically about the Out of Bounds. I've been absolutely loving this SMG. It ticks all the right boxes for me. The 900 round per minute SMGs have a fast time to kill at base. I believe it's 0.67, which is ridiculously quick and more forgiving than the aggressive frames. So the headshot to body shot ratio is more forgiving. But with the Out of Bounds, because of that armor-long origin trait, it's literally been the easiest SMG to just hit all headshots with that I've ever used on console. It's ridiculous. And again, that's why I feel fully comfortable using full bore on this, whereas I've never done that with any other SMG before. It does have a zoom of 14, which is the bare minimum I would ask for on an SMG. Things like the funnel web and even the multi-mac have slightly higher zoom at like 15, and this does make a massive difference in game, so you would get more range with the funnel web. But again, I find this so easy to control that those few meters in range drop off haven't really affected my gameplay with this Out of Bounds. So I can consistently hit more headshots with this, even though it has less zoom and less range than something like the funnel web. Pairing this with Knockout, which has a ridiculous range on it anyway, to easily proc Swash times 5 will give you that insane damage boost and even more insane time to kill difference. This makes this ridiculously powerful in my opinion. This can also roll with Kill Clip, which is another fantastic perk, and is another role that I want. Basically the exact same role, full bore, ricochet, range masterwork, killing wind, and Kill Clip will also be awesome, and I can use that on other characters then, other classes. But again, Swash just pairs so well with Titan, pairs so well with Knockout, and doesn't require a reload, so then you can just keep chaining Swash times 5, kill after kill, without having to time the reload or anything. So I think there's a lot more benefits to that, specifically with the Titan class. The magazine size on this is at 36, which you can see in the gameplay is awesome because you're able to get 2 kills with the same mag. Again, I've not really been able to do this with any of the SMG in the past. I've always been reloading, You should reload if possible, because you'll obviously get the benefit of the Amalon origin trait, which is one of the standout things and what makes this Out of Bounds so much more powerful than other SMGs. And that's only effective on the top half of the magazine. There's just so many benefits with this Out of Bounds that I've absolutely been loving, paired specifically with this Titan build. It's just insane. It's given me my first rerun of this season as well, which is awesome. The skill-based matchmaking has definitely made it more difficult to go on those bigger sprees, but this build just doesn't care. In sixes and stuff, I've absolutely been loving it. And one thing I did forget to mention before, but it's well known at this point, is if you swap weapons, Peacekeepers actually reloads the SMG for you. So if you swap to your shotgun, a kill on someone that's pushing you or whatever, or even 1-2 punch a super, swap back to your SMG, it's fully reloaded for you, so then you've got that origin trait ready to go, giving you that bonus stability and accuracy on the first half. So again, just loads of synergy with this build, absolutely been loving it, just been tearing people up in the Crucible with it, and I look forward to taking it into trials and seeing how it gets on there, and there's no doubt in my mind that it will perform really well there. Another alteration I have been trying out, which I have been loving as well, is rocking the lightning grenades instead of the storm grenades. So the lightning grenades have a slightly longer cooldown, so ideally I would like to bump up the discipline stat a bit more. When paired with Touch of Thunder, the lightning grenade actually gives us 2 charges, so we have 2 grenades we can use. This is great for zoning off areas, and even more powerful in places like trials where you maybe don't want someone or several people to push from different angles. You can zone them off with the lightning grenade. Because of Touch of Thunder, it also gives the lightning grenade a jolt on its initial hit, but again we're pairing that with the Spark of Shark, so then every single pulse of the lightning grenade will jolt someone. And lightning grenades do a lot of damage anyway, and then the jolt on top of that can be pretty much like a 2-hit kill with a lightning grenade, or even the 1 hit alone forces them to move and does so much damage. It allows for a very easy cleanup afterwards. So you'll see some parts in the gameplay where I'm using lightning grenades instead, but on the whole I've been enjoying the Storm Cloud a lot, just because again it forces movement, it forces people to go where I want them to go. That should be the end of the video, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed the build. Nothing really special or out of the ordinary, but just singing the praises of the Out of Bounds. I really have been enjoying it a lot. It's definitely become my favourite weapon this season. I'm going to keep grinding Crucible, keep resetting my rank, and hopefully get that perfect role for me. And if I can get the choice of Swashbuckler and Kill Clip in the last column, then that's even better. If you have enjoyed the build, if you do try it out and you do enjoy it, please let me know in the comment section below. Please let me know any alterations you would make to it. Also, how you would use it for, say, the Warlock or Hunter as well. Swash with the throwing knives on the Hunter is always epic. So that's definitely a build I'm going to be trying at some point. But until next time, my friends, stay safe, keep up the grind, keep having fun, and I shall catch you all very soon indeed. Bye, so bye.